Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. So today we'll be making this bow top. So if you would like to see how I achieved this look, kindly stay tuned. So we're gonna be using this premium basic acrylic yarn. You're gonna need a 4.5mm hook or any hook recommended. We're gonna need some yarn needle. You're gonna need a measuring tape. You will need a stitch marker, and we'll also need a pair of scissors. So let's get started. So you're gonna make your foundation chain. So you make a slip knot and you're gonna chain chains. How would you know how many chains you have to make? You're gonna measure from the top of your boobs to the bottom, or how long you would like the tube top to be, and you're gonna make chain that will be equivalent to that length that you wanted. So I'll go ahead and make my chain. So I'm going to make a chain of 7 inches because that is, I would like it very short. So I have 7 inches here. So you're going to chain 1, and into the very first chain space you're going to make a single crochet. Go into the next chain space and you're going to make another single crochet. So you will be making single crochet in each chain space until you get to the end of the row, and when you get to the end of the row I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. Gonna chain 1 and turn. So we'll be working in the back loop. So where you have the little V, you will go in, which is the back loop only, and you want to make single crochet. You go into the next chain space, back loop only, and you make another single crochet. So you go into each chain space and you're going to make single crochet in the back loop only until you get to the end of the row, and when you get to the end of the row I will meet you there. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, and you're going to chain 1, you're going to turn, and you're going to go into the back loop, and you're going to make a single crochet. Next chain space, back loop only, and you make another single crochet. Following chain space, back loop only, and you make another single crochet. So you're going to continue this process until you get your bust measurement. And how you would know your bust measurement, you would measure your bust minus 8 inches, and you're going to make rows that will be equivalent to your bust measurement minus 8 inches. So go ahead and complete yours and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I thought the camera was on when I was doing this part, but all you have to do, you're going to slip stitch into each chain space on both ends of the top. So you're going to put all two together and you slip stitch it together, go into each chain space and slip stitch it together. I'm sorry. Okay, so I finished, so I'm just going to cut off my yarn, and we're going to pull through. You could sew in the ends in each chain space. I'm just going to tie mine and then sew whatever is left. I'm gonna start working on the bow. So you're gonna make a slip knot and you're gonna make foundation chain. So we're gonna make 60 chain. Go into the first chain space and you're gonna make a single crochet. This is a continuation of the same thing that we did before. You're gonna make rows of 25 and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm done with my rows, and I also divide it in 2 equal parts. Okay, so now we're going to start our row. So you're gonna turn your work, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to continue into the back loop, 1 single crochet into each chain space, back loop only, until you get to the stitch marker. Okay, so I'm at the stitch marker, so you could go into the stitch marker because that won't be affecting you. You would make a slip knot, chain 1, turn, and you're gonna continue the same process for the next 3 more rows. And when you finish, I'll meet you there to show you how we will start doing the decreasing. Okay, so I have my 3 rows, so we will start our decreasing rows. So you're gonna chain 1 and turn. So in the very first chain space, let me bring it up a bit. In the very first chain space, you're gonna push through your needle, and you're gonna pull through. You have 2 loops. Then you go into the next chain space and you pull through. Then you have 3. You're gonna yarn over and pull all 3. So that's how we're going to be doing a decrease. Go into the next chain space and you're going to make a single crochet in each chain space. Go into the following chain space and you make single crochet until you have 2 chain space remaining. Okay, so I'm almost at the end. So I have 2 chain space remaining. So you go into the first chain space, pull through, you have 2, go into the next chain space, pull through, you have 3, then you yarn over and pull all the way through, and that's how you do a decrease. So you will do decrease at the beginning and you will do a decrease at the end. So we're going to continue the same process. Pull up, you have 2, go into the next chain space, pull through, and you pull all the way through, and that's how you would be doing your decrease. So you continue this until you have 2 half double crochet remaining, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm done with my row, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so I have my 2 half double crochet remaining, so I'm just going to turn to the side where I could be able to work with it better. So you're going to go into the first chain space and you're going to make a slip knot, go into the next chain space and you make another slip knot. So you will be going into each chain space and you will be making slip knot in each chain space until you get to the stitch marker, and when you get to the stitch marker I will meet you there. So you're going to continue this until you get to the stitch marker. So I'm almost at the stitch marker. So we want to remove the stitch marker. And where the stitch marker was, we're going to make a slip knot. And we're going to continue the same process that we did on the other end. Go into the back loop, we're going to make a single crochet. So you're going to go into each chain space and you're going to make a knot, make single crochet. So you're going to do 3 rows of no decrease, and then you're going to continue the same process that you did on the other side, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Okay, so I've completed both sides and this is what it looks like. So we're just going to neaten it up. So you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn, and you want to go into each chain space and you're going to make a slip knot all the way around. So you're going to each chain space and you make a slip knot, and when you're done I'll meet you there. I'm just showing you all the way you will be going until you get back there. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut off my yarn since I'm finished. Okay, for this part you're gonna continue the same process that we did with all the strap, but just that this will be a little bit smaller. So you're gonna make at least 150 chains, go into the back loop, and you're gonna make at least 25 rows, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Okay, so I'm done. So we're just going to neaten the ends, the two ends, with slip knots. So you would be going into each chain space and you will be making single crochet, and when you get to the end you're going to cut off your yarn, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Reattach the yarn, and then you're going to make slip knot in each chain space until you're done, and then you're going to cut off your yarn. So go ahead and complete that, and when you're done I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm done. So we're gonna reattach the bow. We're gonna join it together. So you're just gonna take a yarn needle and you will be going through each of the, let me see, go through the yarn. I go through, anyways, you will see what I'm doing, and you will just join it together. Make sure you go through every single space. When you're done, you cut off your yarn. So that's what the both parts supposed to be looking like. Okay, so now you're going to take the bow and the true part, and you're going to, I'm just making sure that it is good, and you just pull it together like that. So this part that I'm going to use to join everything together is just the same process, but you could just make it at least 6 rows, but you could make 4 chains and make at least 6 rows, and you're just going to join together. I would advise you to use a yarn needle and not your crochet hook, because as you could see I am really punishing to get it done. So you could use your yarn needle, and it would be a much more simpler process if you use the yarn needle to join it together. Do not be like me and do that, because it would take you forever. Or you could use a smaller needle, yarn hook, and that's supposed to do. But don't use the same needle that you use to sew, because it will take you forever, and I am really struggling. Yes. We're just gonna make a chain, and then you're gonna cut off the yarn and pull through, and there you have it. You're just gonna sew in the loose ends. In order to keep the bow part sturdy, you could sew it onto the tube top, or you could starch it so that it will be sturdy and it won't fall or anything. So if you have watched my video up to this point, please go ahead and subscribe if you have not already subscribed, and you could leave a comment, like, and share. So I'm just going to reattach the other part. You're just going to push it through, and that's about it. So that's just me trying to fix it and make sure that everything is in order. So you're just going to make sure that you fix it properly. So thank you guys. See you in my next